Well, our next guest is with a dog shelter that makes sure these animals are safe, healthy, and cared for. Russell Rescue is in Columbia and is operated by volunteers, and they need your help to keep going. We're here with Tara and appropriately named here, Puppy. Love Puppy. Puppy is deaf, you said.
That's
Please
correct.
share Puppy's story.
Yeah, so Puppy was found roaming the streets of Pulaski, Tennessee. One of our volunteers actually is a drug rep, and she was going into a physician's office, and Puppy ran in with her. And the ladies in the office said he had been, they'd been seeing him for a couple of weeks, and he was 4 months old. So he was a little tiny tot when he came to me. So he was probably 3 months old at the time. If you can imagine, he's full grown now, how small the little guy was. And then to learn that he was deaf, it was so unfortunate. But she did all the research to try to find the owner, and when she found them, they said, we don't want him back. And so she called us, and that's how she became a volunteer, actually. So she became a volunteer at that time. Hey, Holly, good to see you. Yeah, and so we brought him in, and actually he was a foster fail. So he came in to stay with me, and he and one of my other dogs bonded so much. They were just besties that we just couldn't let him go. So
I'm so glad you guys didn't, because he is a sweetheart. Let's talk a little bit more about Russell Rescue, because this started more than 20 years ago.
Right. So our founder, Mary Ruth, has been doing rescue since the 80s, but she officially founded Russell Rescue about 20 years ago now. And she initially saw that Jack Russells in particular did not do well in a shelter environment. And so at that time, she brought one of them home because she said within 24 hours, they were starting to decline, shutting down and starting to show bad behaviors. So the more that happens, the harder it is to get them placed, right? So if they're having trouble in the shelter, then they're not going to be the ones that people pick to go home with them. And so she called around to some friends, and that's how she got her first foster, was bringing that dog home. And she said almost immediately, the behaviors improved, and she saw what a great dog it was. And after that, she said, I have to help these little guys. So we started out with Jack Russells.
But it is much more than Jack Russells. And I'm sure you have a number of personable stories, but I know we have one right here inside the station. If we could take some pictures. Nikki McGee, one of our reporters, adopted little Alex. There you see on the screen there. Oh, yeah. Her and sweet Alex. Is there a story that maybe resonates with you the most, or do you know any about Nikki's little Alex here? Yeah,
Nikki was sharing with me that Alex was a surrender, and it was at a shelter, I think she said down in Fayetteville. And so that is really common. And actually what we've been getting a lot of lately is either surrenders by family members after their loved one has either departed or has needed to go into a care facility, or we're seeing a lot of breeder surrenders. So they'll call us for 6, 8, 10, 20 dogs that have not sold, that they want to place, or in some cases where one member of the breeding family has died, it was maybe a husband-wife duo, and they said we can't take care of this on our own. And so they're calling around to the rescues and shelters, either dropping them off or working with us. And we hope that they work with us in order to get those dogs into our program.
It just breaks my heart to hear those stories that you were sharing with me before the show. I know that we can help out there. Outside of adoption, what are some ways that we can help?
Yeah, so the two biggest needs we have are fosters and money. So as you mentioned at the beginning, we are a all volunteer-driven organization, and we rely on our fosters to not only give our dogs a place to live so that we don't have to pay for boarding, but also to help us get to know the dogs better so that we can find them the best match possible. So I understand that that's a big commitment for a lot of folks. Some people think they won't be able to give them up. I promise you, you will. And I mean, don't look at my example here, but that you'll be able to help out by just helping us get to know those pups a little bit better, because it helps us find homes faster, which is really great. So aside of those things, we do have other needs that folks often don't know that we can accept donations. So leashes, we go through a ton of leashes, and then harnesses. Yep, exactly. Harnesses of all types, because we don't use collars for safety. We have identification collars, but we don't use those on our leashes. And of course, any of the supplies that you can think of that we might need, potty pads. Sometimes sometimes it's the diaper liners for dogs that are incontinent. Actually, medications. So when people's pets expire, those medications do not. And people often think we won't accept them because they're open, but actually we will. And we do, we do make sure everything's all packaged up. But we can use those things, and we really appreciate it.
Well, and of course, as you mentioned off the top, money is vital to keep you all going.
Yes.
And because of all the work your organization has done, we are going to bring in Bart Durham Injury Law, Blair, with the law firm. He wants to make an incredible donation to Russell Rescue.
Oh my God!
All part of Bart Durham's Giveback, donating $1,000 to animals in need. Blair, so good to see you.
Good to see
You want to take Puppy home, don't you?
I do. I swear, we have, every time we do this, we have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
But I always want to take the other one home. But I know my wife would absolutely kill me because she's the one who generally takes care of the dog.
Maybe you can slide into fostering. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, my kids would love it.
This is absolutely amazing because we just had a case come in day before yesterday that is a serious medical condition, and the estimate we got was around $6,000 to $7,000 on the high end just for that dog's care, and she's currently in the hospital right now. So this is, I mean, just a true blessing. We really, really appreciate it.
It's got to make you feel good, Blair.
It always does. It is so awesome. You know, when my kids get home from school, the first thing they do is lay on the floor and spend half an hour with our dogs. So I know how much love and unconditional love these little guys get. And I'm glad to give back to them because they give so much to us.
And this is extra special to him because he's doing it in his father's memory.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so great.
Yeah,
I love that.
He would.
I love that.
He was a big giver. So.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice of you to think of him.
Yeah.
I love this. Well, thank you guys both so much.
Thank
I want to
you.
take Puppy home, but my Koa. All right, you guys follow Blair's lead and support Russell Rescue. Volunteer or make a donation at russellrescuetn.com.